scared to take it to the head.
Another episode of Bloghoggers today, sponsored by
Canada Dry. Peanut M&Ms. The best M&Ms you can have on the market.
Boathouse Farm Smoothie, great after a workout. And Old Redenbacher Popcorn.
Cause we pop them like over Redenbacher.
Lil Wayne Boys. Now, as you guys might have heard, the NFL draft took place over the weekend. Unfortunately, we were unable to cover it, but we're going to give you a quick recap on what went well, who didn't do too well. So first off, of course, the Dallas Cowboys moving up to get Morris Claiborne. Very instrumental to building up that secondary for years to come. You already have Brandon Carr from the Chiefs, and now you have Claiborne from LSU. He's going to be a great addition to that secondary and makes the defense a whole lot better. And I think the Cowboys are on pace to do well this season if they stay healthy.
Some other teams that did well, the Bears adding another big receiver, Alshon Jeffrey, to go along with their receiving core with Brandon Marshall there, and also beefing up their defensive line. The Colts also did well, getting Fleener from Stanford to complement Andrew Luck in that offense, and also they made some pretty good defensive moves because they know their defense was pretty garbage last year.
You mentioned the Colts, right?
Yeah.
Well, I think the Eagles probably did the best out of all teams. Thank you for that iPhone message, Adam Schefter. I think the Eagles did the best, man. They got Fletcher Cox, a great pass rusher for them. They needed help in their linebacking core and up front. And then also the Tampa Bay Buccaneers did very well getting Mark Barron, who the Cowboys are trying to get, and also the running back from Boise State. I think his last name is Martin, but that's a great addition. Doug Martin. He's a great addition to the backfield with LeGarrette Blount, and hopefully Josh Freeman, quarterback for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, can rebound from his poor performance last year. So, and you were on my fantasy team, so you really messed me up.
Some teams that didn't do so hot. The Chiefs, they got Cyrus Gray from A&M, but I guess it's the only positive. The Broncos, why get a backup quarterback right now?
Well, I mean, I think getting Osweiler from Arizona State, he's a project, so
you have a limited window with Peyton Manning. You have to get him as many weapons as you can now. The Browns getting Whedon. What are your thoughts on that?
Obviously, when you have Colt McCoy on your roster, that's not saying too much, but that's getting rid of his entire confidence that he had. You have Trent Richardson. Why don't you get a receiver like Stephen Hill and let Colt McCoy flourish under that offense? Brandon Whedon's 29 years old too, the oldest rookie probably in the history of the NFL. So we'll have to get our research department to look at that. But also the Jaguars and Texans, we didn't really respect their picks at all. The Jaguars got wasted a third round draft pick on a punter. And we have a friend. We have a friend?
Yeah, let's talk about that. The Texans. They used a fifth round pick on a overweight kicker from A&M. Why? For what reason? When you have a kicker, I might be a little biased, but when you have a kicker who can kick 70 plus yards, I don't know. I'm just saying. Like, wouldn't you draft him in the fifth round over someone who runs the 40 in 10 flat? Like if he does kickoffs, he's not going to be able to cover anybody or tackle anybody. But special shout out to our friend Carson Wiggs, former Purdue kicker, signed with the Seattle Seahawks. Big look for them. So new uniforms, new players, new additions on their team. Look out for them to be a contender in that division.
Now moving on to the other big story of the weekend, the NBA playoffs kicked off on Saturday. The first game featuring the Sixers and the Bulls. And I'm sure you've all heard the news about Derrick Rose going down to a torn ACL, out for the remainder of the playoffs and also the Olympics as well. That's a big loss for the Bulls, and it really puts a damper on their chances to compete for a title.
Shame. Yeah, they were the contender to compete with the Heat, but now you have, the only team really that's like a legitimate contender is the Pacers, which people should not sleep on whatsoever. Just because they did not do so well in game one of their series doesn't mean I don't think that's an indicator of what their team is about.
And I mean, it's just sad to see a player like Derrick Rose go down to an ACL injury. You never want to see anybody get hurt, but just the way that he plays, he's so aggressive and he's so humble. You never want to see anybody get hurt, but especially a guy of Derrick Rose's caliber. Moving on to the Heat and Knicks series, the Heat dismantled the Knicks in Game 1. Another ACL injury to Iman Shumpert, one of the best rookie defenders, if not one of the best defenders in the league this past season. Now with the injury to Derrick Rose and then the Knicks, struggling in the Game 1, I mean, the Heat's door is pretty much wide open to win the East.
There's really no excuse for them not to go to the finals. I mean, if they don't go to the finals, at least go to the finals, they shouldn't be in the league anymore. They shouldn't. They shouldn't. For what? Go play in Europe or something if you're going to bring that weak stuff.
I wouldn't even go that far, but I feel okay. Well, I feel that the Heat, man, they have this opportunity to win the NBA championship, and if they don't win the championship, I don't care if they go to NBA finals. They might as well go to NBA finals. Everyone has them in the finals. So if they don't go to the finals, then that's just a shame on them, and they're probably going to blow up the big three. But they have to at least get to the finals and play whoever they play that's coming out the West.
Staying in the East, the Celtics, Rajon Rondo. What exactly were you thinking? Your team's already going to lose Game 1. Why put yourself in a position to be suspended for Game 2? I mean, obviously, we were talking about this earlier with Ray Allen's ankle. Their window's pretty much closed.
I mean, I don't know. I'm a Rondo fan, and just seeing him do that, I mean, you couldn't really help to think that he's going to be suspended. David Stern is going to try and put any imprint that he can on the playoffs, and why not start with an incident like this? The Celtics, I mean, I can pretty much see their window being closed after this season. Ray Allen's a free agent, and he's banged up too with ankle injury, and KG and Paul Pierce are getting old too. So Rondo's pretty much the only person that can carry the Celtics, and if he's not going to be there for Game 2, then it really puts the Celtics' chances of getting out of this series in a big hole. And they already had an opportunity to get out this series and play the Bulls, who are going to be down without Derrick Rose. So Celtics blew a big chance last night.
Moving on to the Eastern Conference.
We're already in the Eastern Conference, sir.
The Western Conference, my bad. Sorry, I was looking at Pacers. We already talked about that.
We barely talked about the Pacers.
Well, they're a contender, like I said. They blew a lead
against Orlando,
who shouldn't even. They're not even a playoff team without Dwight Howard, but yeah, they're the only contender in the East. I mean, there's nothing really much to say about them. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, they're the only Heat's competition.
Okay, well, sorry about that. Moving on to the Western Conference, we're going to the San Antonio Spurs. They play the Utah Jazz. They played Utah yesterday, and I mean, they're a really deep team. As much as I hate them, as much as we both hate them, they're stacked from top to bottom. Hate to say it. They play a Utah team who's very scrappy, very underrated. Look out for them in like 2 years, but right now, I don't think the Jazz have any shot at beating the Spurs. So
I'm not even going to talk about the Spurs. I don't even like them. So, the Lakers are next on our list. Andrew Bynum. He's really come along this season. First season, he's been fully healthy. But not quite sold on him just yet as far as his character and whatnot. I think if the Lakers ever find themselves in a position where they're down in a game, I don't think he's going to have enough heart to, stay in the paint and, are you looking at me like that? I don't think he has the heart to come back and lead his team to victory. I think Kobe's would have to carry the load like he usually does. So I think that's unfortunate because in a way they could be a glimpse of what Kobe and Shaq used to be, but I just think he's too lazy.
I'll never question a man's heart. I mean,
did. Boom, Andrew Bynum.
I said I would never question a man's heart. I mean, anybody in the NBA, all those players going through injuries, especially with Bynum, he's been through injuries his whole career. And this is his first season where he's been kind of healthy. So just being able to see the glimpses that he's shown throughout the playoffs and this season. It's his first triple-double for the Lakers since Magic Johnson in 1992. So this is a big opportunity for him to show the NBA that he's going to be a force to be reckoned with when healthy for years to come when Kobe retires as well. So we'll see how the Lakers move on against Denver. We're moving on to LA's other team, the LA Clippers. They had an epic comeback last night against Memphis. Came down from 27 points in the fourth quarter. So just for them to come back with Chris Paul's injury as well. He has a groin injury. And him and Nick Young and Reggie Evans led that furious comeback. I'm still not sold on the Clippers. I think the Grizzlies are probably going to end up winning this series. I think they'll be able to bounce back too.
I completely agree. Now, moving on to what everyone wants to talk about, or everyone wants to hear, the Mavericks Thunder series. Just to let everybody know, do not sleep on the Mavericks in this series. Yes, they blew game one, but, we went through this last year. You know what I mean? With the whole Portland series. We thought they were going to lose Portland. You know what I mean? They're still the defending NBA champions. They still have Dirk. They still have Jason Terry. They still have half of Jason Kidd. So, don't sleep on them. With that being said, are they going to win the series? Probably not. I probably just contradicted myself. But it's gonna go 7. It's going to go 7, and Kevin Durant's going to hit another lucky game winner to stick a dagger in my heart. That's just my prediction. Hate to say it.
Okay. We can no longer be roommates. But anyways, the Mavericks played a great game against the Thunder on Saturday. Unfortunately, they couldn't pull through. Durant made an unbelievable shot. That's expected from him. He's done it earlier in the season against Dallas. We were talking about it earlier how, Dirk, maybe he left a little bit too much time on the clock. You just never know. But I think Dallas is going to win the series in 7. That's just me being a homer. Sorry, I got the poster on my wall to show y'all. But Dirk and the Mavericks, if they can play the same way that they did against the Thunder on Saturday and limit the effectiveness of Serge Ibaka, who's big on Saturday, I think they'll be okay. So look for the Mavericks to win in 7.
I hope I'm wrong. But we'll see what happens.
You're wrong.
Okay. Well, anyway, that's it for Bloghoggers today. We'll post another one soon. Probably each weekend the games are over. We'll recap each game. So be on the lookout for that. Shout out to our sponsors once again. And we'll catch y'all next time. Peace.